You're a researcher and you're diving beneath the ice shelf of Antarctica. The water around you is -2 degrees Celsius. That's cold enough that only the salt content is keeping it from freezing solid. Your lights cut through this absolute darkness, and then you see it. A sea spider. But not like any sea spider you've seen before. This thing is the size of a dinner plate. Its spindly legs are spanning nearly 30 centimeters, and it's just slowly picking its way across the seafloor like that's completely normal. Now here's the thing that really gets me. In warmer waters, these creatures barely grow larger than your fingernail. They're tiny, insignificant. But down here, something has gone very, very wrong. Or maybe, from evolution's perspective, something has gone very right. And that's what we're going to figure out today. So Antarctica, right? It's not just the coldest place on Earth. It's basically a biological laboratory that's been running the same experiment for over 30 million years. Think about that for a second. 30 million years of uninterrupted evolution in complete isolation. And the results of that experiment? They're creatures that look like they crawled straight out of a nightmare. The closer you get to this frozen continent, the larger and stranger and more terrifying the animals become. And this isn't random. This isn't some weird coincidence that scientists can't explain. This is something called polar gigantism. And once you understand why it happens, you're never going to look at cold water the same way again. I promise you that. Let's start with what we can actually observe, because honestly, it's pretty insane when you lay it all out. In Antarctic waters, you'll find giant isopods that grow to nearly 50 centimeters long. These things look like armored pill bugs that could genuinely crush your hand if they wanted to. They're ribbon worms stretching over 30 meters, which makes them some of the longest animals on the entire planet. That's almost 100 feet of worm. Sea spiders, like I mentioned, grow to sizes that would be completely impossible anywhere else on Earth. You've got jellyfish with bells over 2 meters wide, just drifting through the darkness like ghostly umbrellas. Even the humble amphipod, which is this little shrimp-like creature that typically measures maybe a centimeter or two, can reach the size of your forearm in these waters. And this pattern just keeps repeating across virtually every group of invertebrates down there. Sponges grow massive. Starfish spread wider than they have any right to. Worms grow longer. It's like something about these waters is telling every single creature the same thing. Get bigger. But what is that something? What's actually causing this? That's the real question, isn't it? So the first piece of the puzzle is oxygen. And I know that sounds kind of boring, but stay with me here because this is where it gets genuinely interesting. Cold water holds significantly more dissolved oxygen than warm water does. At 0 degrees Celsius, seawater can hold about 40% more oxygen than it can at 25 degrees. Now that might not sound revolutionary on the surface, but for invertebrates, this changes absolutely everything about what's possible. See, most marine invertebrates don't have lungs or gills like we typically think of them. They absorb oxygen directly through their body surfaces, just straight through their skin basically. It's a completely different system than what we use. And this means their maximum size is limited by how much oxygen can actually diffuse into their tissues before the cells in their core start suffocating. It's like trying to breathe through a thick blanket. The bigger you get, the harder it is for oxygen to reach your center. There's a physical limit built right into the system. In warm, oxygen-poor water, this creates a hard ceiling on body size. Get too big, and your internal organs literally cannot get enough oxygen to function. You'd suffocate from the inside out. Your own body would become a death trap. But in the frigid, oxygen-saturated waters of Antarctica, that ceiling rises dramatically. Suddenly, body plans that would be completely impossible in the tropics become totally viable. A sea spider that would suffocate at 10 centimeters in warm water can absolutely thrive at 30 centimeters in the cold. The rules of biology are just different down there. But here's the thing that kept bugging scientists for years. Oxygen alone doesn't explain everything. After all, cold water exists in the Arctic too, right? The North Pole is freezing. And while we do see some gigantism up there, it's nowhere near as extreme as what we find in Antarctica. So something else has to be happening in the Southern Ocean. Something unique to that part of the world. And that something is isolation and time. Antarctica has been completely cut off from the other continents for approximately 34 million years. That's when the Drake Passage opened up and the Antarctic circumpolar current began flowing around the continent. Now this current is crucial to understand. It basically acts like a biological wall. It circles Antarctica constantly and creates this thermal barrier that most marine life simply cannot cross. The water temperature difference is just too extreme. So for over 30 million years, Antarctic creatures have been evolving in near complete isolation. No influx of new species swimming down from warmer waters. No new predators showing up to shake things up. No new competition coming in to challenge the status quo. Just millions and millions of years of uninterrupted evolution in a freezer. And this isolation has created something truly remarkable: a predator vacuum. There are no sharks in Antarctic waters, the most successful predatory fish design in all of evolutionary history. A body plan that has dominated the oceans for 400 million years. Sharks have survived 5 mass extinctions. They were here before the dinosaurs, and they're still here now. But they simply cannot survive in the Southern Ocean. Sharks are cold-blooded, and the metabolic costs of maintaining any kind of activity in sub-zero water are just too high for them. They'd burn more energy staying alive than they could ever get from hunting. And the same is true for most bony fish that would typically prey on invertebrates elsewhere. So what happens when you remove the predators from an ecosystem? Something really interesting, actually. Prey species that would normally be kept in check by predation can grow larger and live longer. A giant isopod that would be shark food in tropical waters can just lumber across the Antarctic seafloor completely unmolested for decades. Nobody's hunting it. Slow-moving, soft-bodied creatures that would be easy targets anywhere else can reach sizes that would make them practically invulnerable even if predators did exist. Evolution has basically removed all the pressure to stay small and fast. Why waste energy on speed when nothing's chasing you? Instead, it's replaced that survival strategy with pressure to grow large and efficient. Bigger bodies store more energy. They handle the cold better. And there's nothing around to punish you for being slow. The cold itself contributes to this in another way too. Everything in Antarctica moves slowly. Metabolism scales with temperature, and in water, hovering around freezing chemical reactions happen at a fraction of the speed they would in warmer environments. Antarctic fish have resting heart rates of about once every 6 seconds. Think about that. 1 heartbeat every 6 seconds. Invertebrates move like they're in slow motion even by underwater standards. It's like watching life at half speed. This slow motion world means that growth happens slowly too, sure, but it also means that animals can live for a very, very long time. They're not burning through their biological clock quickly. Some Antarctic sponges are estimated to be over 10,000 years old. These things were alive when humans were just figuring out agriculture. Sea urchins can live for more than a century down there. And when you have that much time to grow and nothing is trying to eat you, then you can reach sizes that would be absolutely impossible in faster-paced ecosystems. The giant sea spiders aren't growing faster than their tropical cousins. They're just not dying. Now let's talk about some of the specific horrors that this evolutionary pressure cooker has actually produced. Because honestly, some of these creatures are genuinely unsettling, and I think you deserve to know what's lurking down there. The colossal squid is probably the most famous example. It can reach lengths of up to 14 meters, and it has the largest eyes of any animal on Earth. Each eye is the size of a dinner plate, but unlike its cousin, the giant squid, the colossal squid is specifically built for the cold. Its body contains high concentrations of ammonium chloride, which is lighter than water and helps it float with minimal effort. It barely has to move to stay in position. And those rotating hooks on its tentacles, they're designed for gripping prey that simply cannot escape quickly in the cold water. It's basically an ambush predator that's perfectly adapted to a world where nothing moves fast. It just waits in the darkness until something drifts close enough. Next in line are the scale worms. Now in most oceans, scale worms are small, rather plain-looking creatures. Nothing special, really. You wouldn't look twice at them. But in Antarctica, they grow to the size of rats, and they develop this elaborate armor plating and these iridescent scales that shimmer with an almost otherworldly light in the darkness. Some species have even developed extensible jaws that can shoot out to grab prey, kind of like a nightmarish version of the creature from Alien. Why would they evolve something like that? Because when you live in total darkness under crushing pressure for millions of years, these are the tools that help you survive. Evolution doesn't care if something looks terrifying. It only cares if it works. The ribbon worms deserve a special mention too. There's one species called Lineus longissimus that can grow over 30 meters long. That makes it one of the longest animals ever recorded on Earth. Longer than a blue whale, it hunts by everting its proboscis, which is this tube-like structure that it can extend way beyond its own body length. It covers prey in toxic mucus before slowly reeling them back in. These worms are so fragile that they actually break apart easily when you try to handle them. Yet somehow they're voracious predators of the deep Antarctic seafloor, fragile and deadly at the same time. Last is my personal favorite, the Antarctic sea pig. This is a type of sea cucumber, and it looks exactly like what would happen if you tried to describe a pig to an alien who had never seen any mammal before. It has these tube feet that function like stubby little legs, a rounded pinkish body, and honestly what can only be described as a face that suggests it has seen things no creature should ever see. Sea pigs travel in vast herds across the abyssal plain, just vacuuming up organic matter from the sediment, and in Antarctica, they can reach the size of a football. Now here's where this all becomes particularly relevant to us right now in the present day. This frozen laboratory is warming. The Southern Ocean is actually heating faster than almost any other body of water on Earth. In that Antarctic circumpolar current, that biological wall that's kept Antarctic species isolated for millions of years, it's weakening. For the first time in geological ages, that thermal barrier is starting to break down. The experiment is about to be interrupted. We don't fully know what's going to happen when Antarctic species begin to encounter the rest of the world's ocean life. Some researchers believe that creatures adapted to constant cold will simply die as temperatures rise. Their bodies just won't be able to handle the change. Their enzymes won't function properly in warmer water. They'll essentially cook from the inside. But others are worried about the exact opposite scenario, that these giants once freed from their frozen prison could become invasive species in ecosystems that have absolutely no defenses against them. King crabs, for example, which have been moving into Antarctic waters, as temperatures warm, have already begun devastating seafloor communities that evolved without any crustacean predators at all. These communities had millions of years without crabs, and now suddenly, crabs are everywhere. Antarctica has been running its evolutionary experiment in isolation for 30 million years. That experiment produced the largest invertebrates on Earth, creatures that look like props from a science fiction movie, animals that push the absolute boundaries of what biology can achieve. And now, because of warming temperatures, that experiment is about to collide with the rest of the world. Two separate evolutionary histories are about to meet for the first time. The giants of the Deep South are coming. So the next time you look at a map of Antarctica, that blank white space at the bottom of the world that most of us never think about, just remember, beneath the ice in waters colder than your refrigerator, evolution has been building monsters, and they've had a very, very long time to get it right.